Have Pastor David Wamathu. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Fred.
We are still expecting George Ngaire to join us shortly, and then we'll continue with this discussion. What did you think about the president's speech during Jamhuri Day? Very interesting stuff he said.
Well, thank you very much, Fred. There are quite a number of issues that the president actually said during that particular time. And some of the things actually he said are the normal things that he keeps on saying about like the housing, every other thing that he is talking about, because he is actually proving that the government is working.
Yes.
But very noticeable thing is actually what you've started by saying.
The visa issue.
Yes, opening the country for every other person just to come, and there is no really vetting and many other things that you are going to come and vet people here when they land in the country.
Yes.
The question that we are asking actually is, do we have that capacity right now? In terms
of
you know, security, you know, because it touches on the security issues for the country.
Yeah.
Because you have seen several people like the two brothers, Atul brothers. You can remember, yes, Garian, and you can remember all these people. You find they are already in the country, and you even don't know how when did they get into the country and all these kind of things. And I'm telling you, there is going to be very many people who are going to come to this country for very many different reasons. Because when you open the country for anyone, there is no vetting, because when you go actually and you are vetted, there are several things that people look at. You cannot actually be able to look at the criminal, you know, in terms of the history of someone within that short time, because many people can actually come and they may not have that capacity to vet all those things there because they are not experts. They are experts in another area, but they are not experts at that particular time.
Let me ask you, is there any other country in the world that has opened itself like this, whereby, I mean, you just wake up the following morning and you decide, I'm going to that country. You get onto the plane and you head there. I don't know.
I have not heard of a country that opened itself the way Kenya has actually opened itself right now.
Yes.
And I was talking to you even before we started this show, and I was telling you about South Africa. Actually, for you to be opened, to be able to go to a country, there is a lot of many things that the country actually looks into. Right now, I was telling you, people from Tanzania, when they are going to South Africa, they will not actually go and look for visa this side, from their side to go to South Africa. But for Kenya, we will go and do it. The issue is, if it is that easy, then Kenyans would have been allowed to go to South Africa freely, just like the way the Tanzanians are actually going to South Africa freely.
I remember the last time the South African president was in Kenya. I mean, there was an agreement that was entered into, I think, for 90 days.
Yes.
Within that window of 90 days in a year.
Yes.
You can go in.
Correct, yes.
I mean, we expected that there was going to be reciprocation.
Yes.
So that if Kenya says, President Ruto says, that now any person from the world can be able to come into the country without requiring a visa, then at least there should have been some sort of reciprocation from other countries. So that Kenyans can go to those countries without requiring a visa.
That is true, precisely. That is actually what we are saying. Why is it that right now, after all that, the South African president coming here, that has not been lifted, and Kenyans are still at the same state? But you see, South Africans, they can actually come to Kenya in the time they want. So we are saying that there is a problem. I think from where I sit, I am not seeing it as a very good thing, in the sense that we should be seeing, if it is that easy, we should be seeing ourselves being told you can go to Germany even without doing all these kind of things. But I can tell you, several of us, even right now, today, you can actually even be invited to go to US and you can fail to go to that US because of the scrutiny that will be done. There are so many things that you have to prove, and you say, one, who is actually going to host you? You are even asked for the statements, many things actually for them. They check even in terms of which other countries have you gone, and many other things. So what we are saying is, I am not sure what is it that we are trying to achieve by doing what we are doing. I am yet to to get to understand what the president is doing by opening Kenya for every other person. You know, we have so many issues. Like now, for example, our neighbors. You see, like our borders, what has been happening?
Yes.
We have the Somalia. We have the Somalia border.
Yes.
Do you know, even in terms of those people, they can actually access your country.
And they can come in.
Anyway, casually, they can actually come and all these kind of things.
Yes.
So I am not too sure what the president actually, what guided him to do what he is doing. Maybe it is for economic issues, but I'm not sure.
Is there a possibility that he believes, or the government believes, by opening up the country, we're going to see more tourists coming, and we can be able to reap from that, or I don't know. He's trying to create because when he started off, he had this Pan-Africanism spirit running through him, where he was talking about Africa, we need to remove the borders, we need to, but now he seems to have gone from being a Pan-Africanist to a globalist, opening up every border to any Tom, Dick and Harry.
Actually, what he is doing, it is something which is so surprising, and I think it has surprised so many people. And I think these issues is actually going even to be brought up, even in the parliament and all these things. I know even it is not sitting very well with the opposition. Because one of the things also, the same way I am failing to understand why he is going that direction, because you may look at the economic issues and you may think that by doing what you are doing, more tourists are going to come. But you see, you can get the tourists and also you can get the thugs. So the thing is, in terms of the balance, you must secure your country. Why is it that in the first place that it was not open like that? It is because we need to secure our country. And that is where I'm saying what is going to happen is that we are putting ourselves into a bit of a challenge, in the sense that I may be good, another person may not be good. But all of us now, we have the freedom to walk to Kenya in a time that we want. Actually, you can say that I want to jet to Kenya. The following morning, you are here in Kenya.
In Kenya,
you're in Kenya. Yes. And that's why we are saying there are several people, you see, who have come even to Kenya without even having the valid document. Right now, you will realize, and we were talking about the two brothers that time that it happened. I can tell you.
In fact, it was during Kibaki's time.
Yes.
And they came and they ran, did some of the most shocking things in the country.
Correct. And that is, from where I sit, that's how we are opening the country for that kind of a thing. Unless we are so serious in terms of our security, intelligence. Yes. And I am not sure that we have that high intelligence to be able. People at the airport, who are the people actually who are checking me. For them, it's actually checking and stamping your documents. Because what else are they going to do? So there is no intelligence. So what we are saying is, at the end of the day, if we are not careful, we may get good people and bad people at the same time. And I can tell you the effect of getting the bad people. Look at what
it's going to outweigh the bring, because all you need is one bad person who's going to do some crazy stuff, like what we had during the terror attacks.
And
immediately the tourists, the people that you want to come,
they will not even come.
Yes, you're given what they call, countries basically want their citizens. Don't go into that country.
Correct. It happened a lot. In fact, you find the US telling its citizens,
a travel advisory.
Yes, Kenya is not safe for you to go. And that's why I'm saying we pray to God that this opening will not get us into that. Because like now, what you realized happened at Dusit, what happened at Westgate. How many people are those? It was not very many people.
Yes.
But actually the terror they caused in this country, it is something that people always remember. Look at what happened at 1998, the bomb blast.
Yes.
How many people actually caused that? And even up to today, families are struggling because they lost so many people. Kenyan lost in a very big way, yes. So that's why we are saying there are several things that we may do. And if we don't look at the other side, because why we are strict in terms of many people coming to Kenya is because we want to be very sure who is coming to Kenya. Because we have also people who are not threats to Kenya. There are people that we have been fighting, you know, and those people, they are not happy. If they get a chance to be able to come to Kenya, they will cause harm. And that's why I'm saying at the end of the day, it is good for us to be safe and to be sure of what we are doing. But from where I sit right now, I cannot see the rationale behind this.
So President Ruto, if you're watching, that is one thing you need to convince Pastor David or Matthew. Your spokesman need to come out and give the pros and cons of some of the policies that you're putting in place so that the country can, so that you can get a buy-in into what you're trying to sell to the country. The other thing that has happened, very shocking. Yesterday, the Kimwarer, Aror, Dam Saga, you remember CS Rotich was one of the, I think there were 7 who were taken in, and we were told that these guys were basically they participated in the whole mess that whose loans we are still paying today. One of the accusations that comes against Rotich is that he engaged in getting loans that were not properly for the country.
Yes.
And yesterday they were literally set free. And when the judge was setting them free, the magistrate was not a happy person.
She wasn't.
Yes.
You know, the thing is, there is what we call the burden of proof. If you take me to court, it is your responsibility to prove that actually what you are saying that I did, you can be able to prove 100% that I did it. It is not the business of the magistrate or the judge to go and actually now, if you are not going to prove, for them they will say, well,
there's no evidence.
There is no evidence. Let me tell you, this thing, how it happened. The DCI and all these guys, they took a case. They had 49 witnesses who are actually supposed to witness against the CS and the team.
Yes.
Only 9 people actually witnessed. They went to the dock. The other people, they were not even questioned.
Yes.
That is 40 people. I can tell you one of the things that was happening, and if you look at the genesis of this case, this case started around 2015.
Yes.
And you can see from that time, 2015, from 2015, 2019, you can see from that particular time, there was a lot of talk. You remember when the former Prime Minister was actually saying 21 billion.
Yes, and the then Deputy President William Ruto, the president, said it was only
7 billion.
Yes.
So actually you can see it is actually, this thing had already gone political. And that's why we say poor politics. And that's why sometimes we pay for poor politics. Because people are actually trying to prove a point. Because I said there was nothing.
Yes.
This government, by the way, it did not have any interest for CS Rotich to be put in.
Yes.
It didn't have. Why?
Because from the beginning, Rotich was a Ruto man.
Yes.
We're not saying that Ruto paid or anything, but Rotich was a Ruto man, even during former President Kenyatta's government.
Correct.
And so by him going in, the then Deputy President Ruto would really come to the backing of this gentleman.
Yes. Now actually that's why I'm seeing, in terms of the government, I think today they are celebrating. Now that's why I say think.
Yes.
I cannot really purport to say 100% they are celebrating or not. But I think they could be celebrating because they have been vindicted. They have been actually been like set free in the sense that because what is it that the president has been saying? He has been saying these dams will be done. You know, actually they started even doing the whole thing. And he said it was political. So for him, he did not believe there was anything wrong in the first place. And let me say, one of the things that happens is when you, and that is the same thing, I guess, it happened during the Hague. You remember the Hague issue?
Yes.
The same scenario is actually what happened. Some of the people who are supposed to be the witness, the key witnesses, what were they done? They were bought.
Yes.
And you can remember. You remember Gichelu?
Yes.
All these people, they were bought. And there is nobody who actually would have been able to go. If, for example, you are supposed to be the key witness, someone comes and tells you this is your millions, this is your hundreds, depending on who you are, your price, and that's what we were talking about.
Yes.
What is your price?
Yeah.
So if your price is $500,000,
You're given your $500,000 and you keep quiet.
You keep quiet. And that is exactly where you remember Ocampo. All these people, they actually said this case for Kenya, all the witnesses have been bought. So I think Kenya has actually, you know, perfected the art.
And it's politician. If you listen to what the judge said, she said that this case was choreographed to see Rotich out. Those were the words that the judge said.
Correct.
And he really criticized the ODPP because he says everything that has been done, and mostly so towards the witness.
Correct.
And even the way the witnesses gave their testimony, it was meant to open gaps.
Correct.
Which Rotich's legal team could be able to take advantage and get away with.
That's the thing. That's what we are saying here. I can tell you for sure, the government was not interested in us getting justice in that case. They were actually determined, and I can tell you, I can understand why the government was behaving that. Because now the regime that is in power right now, it was actually against the whole thing. And therefore, now that they are the people who are in power, they can be able to do anything. In fact, I listened to the judge. And I was actually looking at her and
she was
feeling.
pained.
She was, in fact, she said one thing.
Yes.
She said, this is a time waster, even to the courts.
Yes.
Because you cannot bring such a strong case as you had purported to say, and you withdraw all the witnesses. So what are you really saying? It is actually putting the judge into a position whereby it is a non-starter. The case was a non-starter. There is nothing that the judge could have done.
It's a very unfortunate situation to hear the judge saying this. Because now, you see, it sets a precedent.
Yes.
If you look at the ODPP, from the moment President William Ruto took over the reins of power in this country, the ODPP started throwing away cases.
Very many. Yeah, very many.
Cases just being dropped, just like popcorns.
Yes.
Now, it's become a steady line. You can literally draw a line, and you can actually question whether the president is interested in seeing justice in some of the corruption cases that have been raised.
Well, you see, the history for the few months that this government has been in power, it has not been that good in terms of really determination to fight all these cases, and even indeed corruption.
Yes.
I have really not seen that self-will in terms of moving to other direction. Talks are many.
Yes.
But I can tell you, we need to talk, and also we need to action. I can tell you the action part is actually not there. I would not say that it is there 100%. You find that they are fighting the wrong people. But the people they need to be fighting are actually the people who are enjoying. And that is one of the things I have realized. Do you know, we have very many bad men and women out here walking in the streets.
Yes.
And we have very many good people in our jails. You know, the fact that they were not able actually to say, and several people even said many other things because of that craftiness. And the way we have said that many people have perfected the art that you can be able actually even do a very bad thing, and because
you buy a way out.
Yeah, you buy it because you see it is money that talks. Today I was listening to a statement from the former CJ.
Yes.
Malaga.
Yes.
And I was really very keen to listen to him. And he was saying this. He was talking about change in leadership. And he was saying when he was in Mombasa in 2005, there is a time he made a pronouncement. And he said there was sugar which was supposed to be brought in. And he said this sugar should not be imported. And you know what happened is that he had a friend. And this friend, he was also a friend to him. Actually, a very close friend, just like the way we are friends, me and you. And therefore, these guys who are to bring that sugar, it was actually, that consignment alone was actually 30 million. Wow. So he said, this has to stop. It will not come. So do you know what you have done? It is actually, you are joking with someone's business. So they went to Fred. Assuming it is not you, but I am only giving an example.
So in this case, I'm connected to Maraga.
Yes. So they said, Fred, go and see Maraga and ask him what is his price. You know, what is his price? This judge, because he was also a judge, he told them, Maraga has no price. And they said, no, there is nobody in this country who doesn't have a price. Because actually what they are believing in is that anybody can be bought.
Yes.
And they told him, if there is a man that doesn't have a price, is this CJ Maraga. And I can tell you, he has been a steady man to the extent you remember, even during the, you know, he was the first person to tell a president, go back.
Yes.
You remember what he did, and he said, there was no, the way you did this whole thing, it was not good. It was not fair. You can remember the time that Uhuru was saying that
he blew his top.
Yes.
He said we'll revisit.
We'll revisit it.
Yes.
Because it is a man who has no price. But can I tell you, many people have price in this country. And that's why you are finding the cases are actually falling the way they are falling. Even the people who are supposed to start with integrity, they are not starting with the integrity. It is actually just a price. You swing the price, I take it, all the other cases, they come down. I can tell you, there is no way that we can be saying all the cases which had been taken, they are being withdrawn. What is it that has come up, which is very new, that is making now these cases not to be...
To just drop. I mean, they had 49 witnesses. Surely, these 49 witnesses must have had evidence that there was something fishy in the whole deal. We're not saying that, Rotich is guilty.
No.
No, what we are saying is that with 49 witnesses, it's just evidence that there was something fishy about the Aror Kimwarer Dam saga. And to have the judge basically say that the entire case was choreographed so that Rotich could be released and his co-accused, then that's a travesty to justice. It is a travesty to justice.
Quite unfortunate.
And probably this is one of those moments that would like, the Okiom Tatas of this world to take up these cases and, go, let's see you fighting this, because it's unfortunate. There are billions that could have been lost in this.
Correct.
And were lost.
And also the good thing about these kind of things, it is not only even for whether Rotich wins or he doesn't win. It is actually in terms of putting the systems even for future.
Yes.
All these cases in terms of when we go to court, there are several things that also we learn in terms of improving our operations and all these kind of things. In terms of how do we manage the government affairs. This is one case that would have been able to bring out some few systems, because as you actually get to see the cases being determined, you follow something, you get to see this is where we have the loopholes. But we lost that opportunity in understanding exactly where was the issue. Today, if I ask you, where was the issue?
Now it's completely lost.
It is lost.
So what does that say about the DPP's office, the ODPP's office? Because that's now that's where the rubber meets the road.
What I was thinking about when I saw this, we always talk about independent bodies. There is no independence. These bodies are actually, on paper, they are independent. But I can tell you, they sing a tune from somewhere. And it is quite unfortunate that we cannot believe. You remember there is a time that we were saying we cannot believe our court system. But this one now, actually the court is right in a very big way. But you can see there is actually an independent body which is actually singing a different song, because they needed, first of all, and that's why you are saying, like Komutata, they need actually to ask, who are these witnesses?
Yes.
Why is it that they never witnessed about this case? It is not by just a chance that
they didn't just
people,
wake up one day and 40 people don't want to testify. We need to look at their we are saying we need to look at their M-Pesa accounts, their bank accounts,
that is true.
And also check whether do a lifestyle audit on them.
Correct. That is
so that you establish whether these people benefited.
Correct.
Because it's sabotage to justice. This is it is our money that has been stolen.
That is the thing, and that's why Kenyans have the right to know the truth. And it pains when we don't get to see the end of a case. Especially this issue of people dropping. Actually, I think in terms of our laws, it needs to be more strict. In the sense that you cannot just drop from a case. You go there and say what you are going to say. And be questioned. Be asked several questions. So that if, for example, you have found that you are actually doing things out of malice, then a case can be put on you. So what will happen is, at the end of the day, only people who have the right information will be able to start and say, just like the Maraga, the way he said, I have no price. They'll actually go and say, I have no price. I defend Kenya. I stand for Kenya. I stand for justice. And they will go and say, I cannot be bought. So what we are finding is, we are losing miserably Kenyans in terms of the monies, in terms of the time. Do you know, actually, CS Lotich can actually even go back to the courts and say that I want to be compensated.
Yeah, I mean, he lost his job.
Yes.
He lost an income.
Yes.
And then his name.
It is a lot of money. By the way, let me tell you, malignment, in terms of you malign my name and all those kind of things, this guy can get a lot of money. And maybe it is something that you're going to see. Now it will actually turn from what it was to the terms of he needs to be compensated. And if he says that his health is not good. He went, underwent a lot of stress. How much money do you pay for stress? It can be a lot of money. So this is actually something else that we are looking at, where Kenyans can actually lose even more money for the fact that this man is now out of the court system.
And there's something that I looked at. I looked at, some of the 9, I'm not going to mention names, some of the accused. They look very healthy. If you had this kind of a case hanging over your head, you wouldn't look as healthy as they're looking now. They've added weight. They've got very soft, skin, indicating that they've been living a good life.
You know why?
Why Kenya, who has bewitched us?
You know why they would actually be like that? If, for example, you have been told every day you are celebrating, you are told 5 people have backed off. from your case.
Yes.
Another day, another month, you are told 7 have backed off. You can already see, and you are being told, by the way, this thing is not going anywhere.
It's dying.
The people who are actually, maybe the people even who are left the 9 are people that they looked at them and they said, let's not kill the whole thing. Let's get to the people who are actually going to say nothing.
Yes.
Let them go. At least there is a face to show that there are people who witnessed.
Actually, that's what the judge was alluding to.
Yes.
Said the witnessing that was given here was done in such a way
that
the accused persons would be let off.
Sure. The people who had the information, they backed off long time ago. And that's why you are saying the guys were growing healthy.
Yeah,
and they were looking better.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, they know, there is nothing. And they know after that. You know, let me give you in fact, you have made me remember something. This case, who was actually like the PS? There was the CS, who is Lotich.
Yes.
The governor, the current governor for Central, the governor.
Ndongo.
No, Duge.
Duge. Yes, you're right.
You know, there were
Duge was the PS.
Yes. And he was actually told, you have no case.
Yes.
And today, he is serving this government. I can tell you, this case was doomed to fail long time ago. If you find that people, in fact, you may find even Lotich after some time.
You will join government.
You'll join government. So at least these guys, they were comfortable. They knew things are good on our side. So it was nothing really to make them not to sleep. Because the machinery, the state, and the systems,
yes,
we may not know. We are only saying that
but there is evidence.
Yes.
Including what the judge is alluding to.
Correct.
That there are people who manipulated the system to ensure that Rotich was set free.
Correct.
That's we're just using what the judge said.
Correct.
And he said, I mean, this was a waste of the taxpayers' money, waste of court's time, and the ODPP basically choreographed this witness giving to ensure that there is no case against the accused. When you have the judge saying that, it's an unfortunate situation.
Unfortunate and very frustrating.
What does this do? If you can remember during the campaigns, President William Ruto was, taken on quite a number of times with people saying that his manifesto does not say anything about fighting graft. And now you're seeing, small things erupting here and there that are showing indication that there's graft going on at some level. And it has not been taken as seriously as it should.
Yesterday I was talking to someone. And I was telling him that if you look at Kibaki's government and now Ruto's government, these two governments, I know President Ruto is really trying to borrow a lot from the Kibaki's government.
Yes.
But these two governments are actually almost like, West.
They're completely...
Yeah, they are actually completely off. You see, the thing is, if you look at our president right now, he is a knowledge.
Yes.
I tell you, he can sell you anything.
Yes.
Actually, he can actually sell you even this thing, and he tells you this thing is worth 1,000. And he will give you the reasons, and you will clap. And you say, yes, and this man has spoken. Actually, it is in terms of his communication, he is one of the president, I would say, in this country. This guy, this president, he goes even out there. He will not even refer to his
information at
his fingertip. He has
fingertip.
the information at his fingertip. Now, what is happening with him and the difference between him and Kibaki is that Kibaki was actually not that great orator.
Yeah.
Kibaki was actually an orator when he wanted to make fun.
Yes.
Because he was a fun guy.
Yes.
He could make a lot of fun. Unaona, like the time that his driver tried to move when it was raining. And he says, even my driver there is actually getting away from the rain.
Yeah.
And he could use several things. And he could cheer up people.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, he is a man who was on the lane of implementation.
He didn't speak much.
He didn't speak much.
You only saw the effects of what he was doing.
Correct. Now what we are hearing is that if you look at the manifesto for the current government, it is a brilliant manifesto. The same way we talk about Malaysia, Singapore, who actually took our manifestos in 1963, and they went and they implemented. And today, in fact, even in the speech for the president, I have heard him say that people like Malaysia, Singapore, they are very far away ahead of us as Kenyans. But do you know what? They used the capacity for Kenyan people to be able to do what they have done very well. The problem we are having is implementation. Our president and his government is actually talking very many things, which are good things, but when it comes to implementation, it is another story. And that's where we are having a bit of a problem, in the sense that if, for example, like the way you are saying, it was actually questioned in terms of the capacity for them to fight corruption. And actually that is one area they need to redeem themselves.
Yes.
Because their fight for corruption, it cannot be seen. President is actually going there out and saying, Mambo ni matatu.
Yes.
We want to see what he is talking about. As it will be a mambo ni matatu.
We want to see heads rolling.
Yes, that is what we want to see.
Yes.
Because you are finding that there are so many things, like some of his CSs, they are being mentioned.
Yeah.
You know, in dirty deals.
And it defeats everything that he's working so hard. I must say, I was talking to a gentleman, there's some construction work that is happening, I think, at State House on the dais.
Yes.
And the president is so hands-on to a point that he comes to see the progress that is being made. And he understands what is being spoken and basically has a good grasp of what's happening. But we want to see him now moving from a good grasp to now the implementation and proper implementation of things.
Yeah, because I think that is what is lacking. Because you see, several things that they are talking about are good, even when you talk about the housing.
Yeah, it's a good project.
It is a good project. Actually, that like the housing, it never started from this regime. Actually, it has started a long time ago. But the thing is, in terms of when they come to implementing what they want, it becomes a problem. Right now, I have seen the president say that this is our pet project. We are going to do it whether you want it or not. You can see now where he is headed is actually because when you actually lack that, you know, you need to bring, you know, there is a book in the Bible.
Yes.
Philemon.
Yes.
If you read that book, it is actually a book that talks about agreement in a very big way.
Yes.
That even Philemon was actually telling people, he is telling them, look, I don't want to make you to do things when you don't understand why you have to do them.
Yes.
I want us to have an agreement. Right now you are finding that they are beating their chest and saying, the court, several few people, they don't want us to do what we are supposed to do in terms of our pet project. And we were asking, when the president was actually saying such kind of things, like this health, the health matters. You know, he was saying that there are some few people, cartels, who are actually trying to frustrate their programs. And he is saying that there are some few people in the corner there who are purporting to be doing more surgeries and many other things that the Kenyatta National Hospital. So the thing is that we were asking ourselves a question. If the president has this information, why is it that these people are continuing to do what they are doing?
They've not been arrested. Nothing has been done to them.
Correct. So
at least from the public perspective.
Correct.
We've not seen anything happening to them.
Yeah, you see, now those are the things we are saying. We don't want talks. Because there are so many talks, and I'm sorry to say this, because I don't expect the president to say such things to the public, and we don't see the action. We need to see, because I can tell you, when the president says something, he has a lot of intelligence.
Yes.
And therefore, he needs to make us to feel safe.
Yes.
In the sense that we are
he
fighting.
He knows what he's doing. He's got the proper information.
So he looks like the way the former president was. You know, there is a time when former president was put on the corner on the matter corruption.
Yes.
There is a point that he reached and he said, "Munataka nifanye nini?"
What do you want me to do?
What do you want me to do?
We lose 2 billion shillings.
Yes. That is not a statement from a statesman. You cannot ask people, Sasa, what do you want me to do?
You have the machinery from
Correct.
I mean, all the machinery,
Correct.
including the military.
Correct. That's why we are saying, let the president not keep on telling us and pointing things to us about what people are doing. Because he is actually talking too much about, I am going to fight them. We want to see him fight.
Fight.
We don't want him to keep on telling us how he is going to fight them. Because this is actually, let me tell you, this is actually the second year. We are getting, is it second? We are getting to the second year. Yes. We are in second year.
We actually in the second year.
It's the second year. We cannot continue just saying how we are going to fight corruption.
And you see, just connecting it with our next, the control of budget. Margaret Nyakango basically is now out in the public. And she's saying, you know, you remember she had been taken through the court processes.
Correct, yes.
Over a case of a SACCO that she said to be have been a member, yet she had not signed documents becoming a member. So many funny things. And now she's saying that the president is after her because of the expose she did over the 15 billion shillings that is being stolen and misused by public servants. Do you believe her?
Let me tell you, the whistleblowers, and you know, she has actually, by the way, she has a tenor, security tenor.
Yes.
What happens is, at the end of the day, if you are not singing the same tune with the government of the day,
yes, you're in big trouble.
You'll be in trouble. And I can tell you here, I may not say 100% because I may not purport to know so much, but I can tell you, when you fight, someone comes. Because this lady, she has been actually told, keep quiet.
Yes.
But she looks like she doesn't have a price also, like CJ Maraga.
she's a Maraga who...
Yes, she is a Maraga woman, you know. Yes. She is actually someone who has her own integrity and her own stud. This lady, one of the things that actually she came out and she said is that the salaries which are being paid are actually inflated. You find that people are supposed to be paid like $500,000. They are being paid 1.5 million, something which is off what has been approved. This woman actually came and she brought out clearly that there are some things which are being done, not by the previous government,
by this government,
which are out of order. And she was very adamant, and she said, this is the position. Some of the things which are being done is actually where someone is pointing you with a gun and tell you, sign here. Things which have not actually passed the right approvals. And you are told, sign here. And you find that she has felt enough is enough.
Yes.
And she has come out and she has said, this is the truth. And I tell you, by the end of the day, you will see what is going to turn out to be.
Yes.
Because I can see this is a woman who is determined that I must speak on what is the right thing. And these are the people that we need even in this Kenya.
People who will stand up for the right thing even when it's not comfortable.
Correct. Correct. Because
I hope, I just hope that we are not piling support and you know, and praise on her, and then it turns out it's the opposite, that she was actually involved in this.
By the way, can I tell you?
Yes.
Already several things have happened in the court.
Yes.
and she was to be prosecuted. What has the court said? Stop those kind of things.
Yes.
When you hear the court say this thing has no merit,
Yes.
they have already looked at several issues.
The pros and cons
Yes,
in the...
and they have seen. I can tell you, whichever way, whatever way, if she is not correct, watch her, even her, to carry her own burden. At least. But what we are saying in Kenya, right now, from where we are and the information that we have,
Yes.
that is one person who is actually making people to see that I can stand for the truth.
She's refused to budge.
Correct. So it is something that we are yet to see. But I think there are some points that she has said. You know how she has said?
Yes.
Let the government come and prove in the court of law that this is not what is happening.
Yes.
Let me say, there is a regime. And that time I used to be a general manager somewhere.
Yes.
I will tell you a
Yes.
very good example. A long time ago, not long time ago, around 2015 or something like that. There was the former, I don't want to mention names, controller of budgets.
Yes.
And that's why I'm telling you, these offices, sometimes they have a lot of fire. And many things actually happen in these offices. That controller came to my office one day.
Yes.
And told me, I'm actually evading whether she or he,
Yes.
so that you don't get to know
Yes.
who is this controller.
Yes.
Came and told me, look, I have a target. I have been given a target that I must raise this money.
Raise for what?
I will tell you.
Yeah.
I will tell you.
Because I thought the control of budget has a budget that comes to her
I
office.
will tell you, there is some money which is raised
Yes.
out of the country budget.
Yes.
There is money that goes to people's pocket.
Aye.
And you know, someone goes and tells her, look, I am the one who put you here. So what must happen is that by the end of this month, I
want
need
this
these
amount.
millions. It doesn't matter where you get it from. You have all the systems where you have. You
Get
think
it.
about what you have to do. Do you know that person came and said, I have to raise this money. And I think the only best way for me to raise the money is by purchasing vehicles. When I purchase these vehicles, this is what I want.
So they purchase the vehicle, and in the price of the vehicle,
There's money.
a cut for
There
her.
is a cut that is put there. That money we will pay you immediately. When you pay, this amount of money must come back to me immediately. So it ceases even to be the salesperson commission. It is actually commission for someone's pocket. What we are saying is the things that happen are very many. It is long time. It is not this regime.
yes.
So don't think about it.
My mind is already running through control of budget. So and so.
Yes, you will get it one day. But I can tell you,
Yes.
these are things, even the people who are supposed to maintain the integrity, because of the way you got into that position, people expect that you are going to sing their song.
Because
And
he who pays the piper.
Correct.
Yes.
But you see, when now you start having your own mind and having your own stand, these people say, okay, this is what you are trying to do. We are the people who brought you here.
Yes.
And you are actually now not listening to what we want. And that's why you are saying, this lady saying, people are after her so that she can get out of that office. Because you are actually brought there so that you can be able to sing.
Kind of
but you're
like
not singing.
protect the property or protects the interests of certain individuals.
Correct. And when you don't protect them,
Yes.
several things, you will be frustrated because they know that this position, they can't just remove you from there.
Yes.
You have seen me, even the lawyers, Danson, O'Malley.
Yes.
He is saying this is not a position that you can be able to get this
It
person.
has security of
It is a security of tenure, yes.
Yes.
You cannot actually remove this lady from the office like the way you want.
Yes.
But you know what they will try to do? Is actually for them to frustrate.
Discredit.
Yes, and they frustrate her to the point whereby she feels, I have no energy to continue with this thing.
Yes.
That is the only thing they can do. It is to put intimidation. Because why is it that now, okay, it is good if she did long in terms of the circle and all that,
Yes.
we want to hear. But you see, some of the things he is pointing is crucial and critical.
Yes.
When you say that you are actually using the public money to buy several things, shares and here, all these kind of things, which the par value is not actually what you are buying for at. So you see, there is a lot of dirty things which are happening. And when you find people don't want clean deals, this is exactly the kind of the pressure that you get.
Let me ask you, because I know you're also a student of the Old Testament, and probably you can be able to pick examples in the Old Testament where countries were at a place like this, and how the Lord now can come in through the church and empower leadership, because this is obviously lack of leadership, so that I love the fact that the church spoke out. I saw the Bishop Marks of this world. I saw quite a number of bishops speaking, including Archbishop Kitonga, speaking against, you know, some of the ills that are happening in this country. This is the right time to speak, isn't it?
It is the right time to speak. And let me say, one, you find, like as you have said, in the Bible, you find like the children of Israel. These people, there is actually the way they had many people who are against them. Moabites,
Yes.
Philistines, they could actually plant.
Yes.
And the time they are about to harvest, the Philistines,
Yes.
they come. But you see, there are some men who stood and they said, we cannot be planting
Yes.
and other people come to leap. And let me say, God really empowers his people. Because the more they tried to bring down the children of Israel,
The stronger they got.
the stronger they got. Let me say one thing. It doesn't matter what people are trying to do, even right now. They may try to bring people down. But the thing is, once the voice has gone out,
Yes.
like this
Yes.
is a voice.
Yes.
Once the voice has gone out, it is actually something that you cannot bring it back.
I like what the scripture says somewhere, that the Lord looks down at them and he laughs.
Correct. Correct.
He's just looking and wondering, what
Yes.
are you guys planning?
True.
You think you can execute this? And he laughs.
Let me tell you, it is the same they say, the watchman. The watchman may keep on watching the city.
Yes.
And unless God watches over his people, really, he is
It's-
doing a zero work.
Yes.
And that's why we are saying, let's not fight the truth. Actually, you can suppress the truth the much you want. But one day,
It will rise
the
up.
truth will start.
Yes.
And when it started, and I can say, the truth may actually come out because of this kind of people.
True.
They may have their own weaknesses because they are human beings.
Yes.
But even if you try to fight them, the much that you want to fight them, they are going to grow stronger and they are going to grow powerful, because I can tell you, God is interested in this country. It doesn't matter what people are thinking about. All of us, we were put here for a reason and a purpose. And there is something that God wants to say. And I can tell you, when you
will.
don't hear the voice of God,
Yes.
God can actually take you whichever dimensions. And I can tell you, unaona Nebuchadnezzar?
Yes.
Unaona, he was actually a strong guy.
Yes.
But I'm telling you,
He ate grass.
alikula nyasi. Let me say one thing.
Yes.
Let's not allow ourselves to go and do the same like
That law.
Nebuchadnezzar.
True.
Because it can happen. Let people start for the truth and the integrity from God. Because this is what is going to help us even to move forward as the country.
Amen. You know, the truth will always set us free. The truth will always set us free. And no matter how much we try to bury it, on the third day, it always rises up from the dead.
Correct.
So this, it's not a gloom and doom. No, actually, the exposure of this is a good thing. Because when it's exposed, then it's fought. And
Correct.
God has people. And I believe you are one of those people who God has set aside to be able to save this country. We are the light of the world. And I like the fact that when light appears into darkness, darkness does not argue. It just goes.
Correct.
And when you put salt into the food, you only need a little bit tweeny of salt.
Correct.
To make a whole plate taste good.
Correct.
We are both the light and we are the salt. So we'll make Kenya taste good before God.
Yes.
And we'll make it look brighter before God because we are those two, light and salt. So let us walk as light and as salt, and let's have impact in this country. Do have yourself a lovely day. Remember, this is the last leadership show for this season. We just getting to the Christmas season. So if we don't get to meet again before Christmas, do have yourself a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'm very sure the pastor would also like to wish you the same.
Yeah, very, very much. At least I'm happy that we have been together.
Yes.
And God has given us this opportunity to get to speak about Christmas. It is a time I wish you blessings. Looking forward to meet you next year. God bless.
And remember, Christmas is not the day a goat was sacrificed. It is the day that Jesus died, was born. And Easter, he dies for us to take our sins. We can get lost in the goat slaughtering and stuff. Remember the reason for the season.
Correct.
God bless you. Do have yourself a lovely day.
Amen.